following is a technical analysis on TriplePoint Venture Growth, a company of the financial services sector and asset management here off the daily interval. From a technical analysis perspective, it is evident that this particular stock has seamlessly converged now with a delineated triple line, signifying a critical juncture of resistance. This confluence of resistance is pretty remarkable, presenting a compelling opportunity for initiating a short trade entry at the precise point of price resistance, specifically at the noteworthy level of 12.17 price resistance. The point of resistance synchronously coincides with the upper threshold of the gap resistance, as well as the preeminent reactionary highs downtrend line here within the overarching daily interval channel here, originating from the highs witnessed in December of 2021. Pretty rare since I've seen a nice clean primary channel of this magnitude, but here we are. Definitely a triple line of resistance. Bull traders, dip buyers, don't want to see a solid breakout above that key inflection point. Pretty darn good resistance as well. Even better resistance down at that 1177 price support, which would be my first target for a potential slight covering, and then an additional move down to, especially if we take that out, coinciding with that 200-day moving average. So you have just a dual line of support there with a stellar resistance at 1177. We snap that. Then I would only suspect a pretty stronger wave of selling down to 1132 price support there. Pretty decent support, but it will coincide with the 50-day moving average and 50 exponential moving average. So again, just wild lines of support down below. But if we get this pullback, if we get rejected through if we get rejected pretty violently here off that primary reactionary high at the channel, top of the channel there, then you will put in exaggerated bearish divergences amongst all three technical momentum indicators. Whereas we have these technical momentum indicators above the zero line thresholds as of now, with a confirmed crossover here on the moving average convergence. So there is health being poured into some of these key technical momentum indicators for the bullish case and the bullish side of the scenario. You could even potentially draw out again a nice clean reactionary uptrend line here off the May reactionary lows there. A multitude of reactionary lows to help strengthen the validity of that primary uptrend line. And again, just you'd like, that's why that 1177 price support again would be monumental, big key inflection point. Clean out these lines real quick, and that would be a big opportunity, which would, in my opinion, put in a secondary sell signal, especially if we take this out and sort of trade amongst that key inflection point. Put in a nice clean daily sell signal below there. And again, would only add on to your existing short trade position size, if not in a beautiful, well-defined entry into that trade for a prolonged move down to my last price support at that 1050 price support there. So we'll measure out the targets here. And again, a nice clean stop out move here will allow begin the scaling out process there and initiate that short trade setup. Whereas that first target there at 1177 price support for a 1.2% drop, down to 1132 price support for a 5.4% drop, down to 1050 price support for a 12.3% crash. You have a huge spike in volume at price profile right amongst this range. So I cannot stress enough how pivotal the 1177 price support goes. And I'll add to my position, and should be a pretty powerful move to the downside. And again, we will put in near-term damage in these technical momentum indicators on a more than likely move on a back test retest of the zero line thresholds. And if that 1177 goes and it snaps right below that key inflection point, I would only suspect a prolonged damage below the zero line thresholds and a pretty extreme rush for the exits.